It's me again. So I'm going to continue with my health, staying fit and healthy as you get older. The fit bit is more a case of exercises and things like that. I mean, I've been going to the gym for quite a while now, basically to keep my bones strong. So one of the problems is, as you get older, whether you're on medication or whatever, your bones obviously start to lose size and strength, especially in women even more. But if you're, depending on your lifestyle, you could lose quite a lot of bone strength. And then obviously if you do have a bit of a spill, then you can break something. But anyway, to keep things nice and strong, what I do is I'm in the gym twice. Well, I actually go to the gym 4 times a week, but when I say gym, I go to the leisure centre, I should say, 4 times a week. And I sauna every day for 20 minutes a day. And I swim. And then 2 days out of those, so on the, say we go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, on Tuesday and Thursday I go in the gym and I do basic body parts, but I don't go mad on the weights. So gym day, I tend to do free weights. Start off with a little one and just do some basic exercises. Get in here, do this twice a week, go for a swim 4 days a week and a sauna, and then pop in here twice a week, and that just about keeps me sorted. You just need to stress your bones when you're getting older. Even more for me with taking these tablets I'm on. Anyway, light weights and just do stuff like that, because anything you can do to bash and put strain on your bones tells your brain to strengthen your bones or keep them as strong as they are now. If you do nothing, you lose strength or you lose skeleton. Same with everything, muscle, same with everything. I've touched on this before. Use it or lose it. If you don't do stuff, your body goes, well, I don't need that anymore. I'll do something, you know, I'll just adapt to your lifestyle. So the more active you can be, the better. So like I say, we go walking every day, I do cycling as much as I can, and I do the gym. So that's that sort of taken care of. Other stuff is, obviously I've mentioned already in the last video about food, with my problems with gastric reflux. On a more general theme, for everyone's health, but especially as you get older, there's a lot of things that this is a tricky one, because we're used to this stuff. You know, we've been brought up on it. I've been brought up in it. I was brought up on sugar. I was brought up on anything. You know, I was born in 1955, 10 years after the war finished. My parents went through the war, and rationing and food was hard to come by. So when we were growing up, is eat everything, come on, eat this, eat that, because they had none when they were younger, because it was all rationed. So it was all a case of feed everybody up. And I had stuff like sugar sandwiches and all kinds of crazy stuff. So we ate a lot of it, but I ran around like a loony. I never sat still, neither me or my brother. We were very, very active. But what's happened now is, like I say, we did have sugar, but we had massive gaps between meals, or we completely go out all day long and eat nothing. And then we come in the evening and eat something. So we were tearing around all day. We'd be up playing in the woods, or we're doing whatever we were doing. And there was none of this sitting around on a phone, you know, growing a neck that's never going to straighten. You know, so life's very, very different now. Also, eating out. We never ate out. You know, eating out was a major, major occasion. Very, very special occasion. Very rare. Takeaways didn't exist. Actually, they did. Fish and chips. We had fish and chips now and again, but we didn't take it home. It was a case of, if you went to the Scouts on the way home, you might grab a bag of fish and chips, but that was about it. There was no fast food at all. And obviously, as fast foods come in, it started off with stuff like Wimpy. We used to have a thing called the Wimpy bar, which was like a burger, which was all copied from America. Everything is copied from America. We can't wait to be America. We can't wait to be unhealthy. We can't wait to be fat and lazy. We just cannot help it. But that's the hard part. And all the things that are now in our food, which I mentioned before, they're all manufactured by a very small amount of companies. They manufacture all of our food purely for money, nothing else. They're not trying to make you fit and healthy. They don't want you to be fit and healthy. They want you to eat more and more and more and more and more. They do not care whether you drop dead. They don't care what you look like. They just want your money. And the easiest thing to do, I did have this, we were chatting the other day, myself and my wife, and whilst walking the dog. And we watched Dragon's Den, and we were thinking, if you were to make a pitch, you'd go into Dragon's Den, two of you, and you sell the idea, right, you come up with, right, I'm going to make some food, which is extremely cheap, so really big margin, so maximum profit. It's very cheap to make because it uses byproducts from other foods, so you can strip out all this stuff from a food already that already exists, and you can make all these lovely things, and you make them really tasty. You look at what people like. They like sugar, they like fat, and they like really tasty, lots of things that really boost the taste, and you got them hooked. Push this stuff out there, and then make it so that it goes through your system really quickly, so you're hungry again really fast. Make cans of drink that have got things in the drink that make you more thirsty. Salt, for instance. You know, I've done it. I've drunk a can of Tango. 10 minutes later, I'm thirsty again, because it's got stuff in it to make you thirsty. Not stupid. So anyway, I've sort of gone off track slightly. So if you go into this pitch for Dragon's Den, you say, right, I've got a product, and it's going to make people eat and eat and eat, and we're going to sell tons of this stuff. And my friend here, he's going to start up another company, and he's going to manufacture pills which then help people cope with all these products. Yeah, you get really big, or I'm going to sell you a product that will make you really small. So the two of us are going to make an absolute killing. The food and drug industry. There you have it. We are the victims of it. The videos, I've got a couple of videos I've linked from Daria, the CEO. One of them is really, well, they're all worth watching, but I'll put a link to the one in particular which talks about, in detail, about what I'm talking about now. And it's just basically very, if you want to eat healthy, it's very hard. It's very difficult. It's not expensive, because everyone thinks it's expensive. It's not. It's not at all. What it is, it's not accessible. You know, nobody supermarkets don't want to sell you this stuff because you won't buy as much. They want you to buy tons. You go in a supermarket, look at the bread aisle. Racks and racks and racks of packeted, soft, gooey bread. Loads of different makes, all rubbish. It's all full of the same sorts of things. Very cheap wheat, very cheap flour. White bread is terrible. It's terrible stuff. But we all, you know, buy a nice white crusty bread. It's shocking, because all the goodness of that grain's been taken out, and all that's left is this white powder, which they call flour. But like I say, it's sold and it tastes good. The way they manufacture it, it's really tasty. So what you've got to do is avoid all those aisles. But it's really hard. You go to the bakery, like all supermarkets have an in-house bakery now, and you'll go by, oh, lovely smell of bread, and they'll have pastries and all these sorts of things sat outside, and all to lure you in. But there's no healthy alternative in that building. You can't find it. I did a search on Google today for bakeries, proper bakeries. There's about, in Gloucestershire this is, I think there's 2 that I could find. There's one in Cirencester called Halls, and there was one in, actually no, Stroud, called Halls, and there's another one which I can't quite remember, Need, but all they really make is cakes and stuff like that. So we go to Halls in Cirencester, actually, because they've got a shop that sells their bread there, but they're probably the only one. There's not one in Cheltenham, there's not one in Gloucester. I don't know where else there might be one, but that's it. So if you want to eat healthy bread, which we do, you got to go and find it. And when you find the bread, because what everyone's trying to eat now is something that really does help your gut health. And gut health is really, really important. You need to have a healthy gut with all the microbes in it to digest the food, to get into your system, to make you grow, and all the nutrients out of the bread, the health, you know, all the rest of it, the vitamins. So you need that. So sourdough is, because the word sour is slightly fermented bread mix, if you know what I mean, for want of a better word, and it's really good for you and it's really tasty. But you need to eat brown sourdough, so even that's quite hard to find. And you'll see in certain supermarkets now, they're selling sourdough. It'll be in plastic packets, and it'll be £2 for a 400 gram loaf, something like that. and it's still not got everything in it. It'll have things like flour, and it'll have malted flour. Well, that's flour that's had something put back that's already been taken out. So you need to eat whole grain flour, spelt. You'll find that sometimes, which isn't like a wheat, an ancient wheat, which is really, really good for you. So that you can find. But finding this loaf, this lovely loaf, which is good for you, is quite difficult. Like I say, we found a bakery in Cirencester. It's £5 a loaf, or £4.50 I think, which work, and that's twice the size of the one in the supermarket. So it's not any more expensive. But when you eat it, it fills you up. It's really nice, really tasty, but it does fill you up. So you don't eat that much of it. So we buy 2 loaves a week, and we eat quite a lot of, we have bread with most things, or sourdough I should say, with most things. And so two loaves will last us for a week. And other stuff, obviously we don't eat any sugar now, at all. When I say sugar, I mean refined sugar, added sugar. Obviously there's sugar in milk, there's sugar in fruit, potatoes have got, certain things have got sugar in them, but that's part of the it's part of that product, that plant, that plant. So that's good. That's nothing wrong with that. That's part of something. But when you add refined sugar, that's what you don't want. Like the white sugar you get is just calories. It's nothing else. There is no goodness in it whatsoever. It's nothing other than basically a drug that you don't need. But it's so addictive. So me saying to you, right, you want to stay fit and healthy when you get older, no sugar. So that means none of these packets of stuff, no cookies, no cake, that's hard, no chocolate. The only chocolate you can eat is black, raw, basically as black as you can get it, or cocoa, which is bitter, but you can get like 80% chocolate, which is better, but it'll still have sugar in it. But see, try and avoid that. No alcohol. No alcohol free. Nothing in a fizzy can. All these things are bad for you. Stuff in a fizzy can ruins your bones. Alcohol ruins your bones. So the list goes on, but it is, and like I say, you're listening to this going, life's not going to be worth living. Why would I want to do this? What a life I'm going to have. Well, I can take it from me. I'm fine. I really love my food. What happens is, I used to have tomato sauce, vinegar, blah, 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 blah. Go out for a Chinese. In a Chinese meal, you'll have something called monosodium glutamate, which is a flavour enhancer. That's why when you have a Chinese, your mouth gets sticky because of all this white powder they put in the food to make it really tasty. And your taste buds adapt to that taste. Same with salt. You'll get used to a level of salt in your food. Because when we were growing up as kids, Mum used to make the food, and occasionally when she went to work she'd be at work on a certain day, and Dad would be home and he'd cook our food. And he used to make the potatoes and he'd dish it up, and he'd forgot to put salt in the potatoes, and we'd go, oh my God, I can't eat that. Oh, it's disgusting. Now, we never have salt in potatoes, and it's vice versa. If someone was to serve me now with salt in potatoes, it'd be like eating it's got seawater in it. So your taste buds adapt really quickly. Same with sugar. I can spot sugar. If someone stirs my tea with someone else's spoon that's had sugar in the cup, don't put any in mine, just use the spoon, I can taste it. And you'll be the same. So your taste buds adapt. So what I get now is I can taste things that you can't. So like the bread is really tasty. Everything you eat is super tasty. And we now eat real meat. We buy a chicken that's now twice the price of a supermarket chicken. But it's much more tasty and good for you. It lasts just as long. But then, because you're going to say, well, that's, you've bought bread for £5 instead of £1, even less, for rubbishy bread, and you've paid nearly £10 for a chicken. Well, that's ridiculous, But we're not buying any cakes, any sweets, any cans of pop, no beer, no all the rubbish. We're not buying it, so we're saving a fortune, and we're eating food that is good for us and fills us up. So all this stuff about, you can't eat a healthy diet is rubbish. It's more a case of, Do you want to be healthy, or do you just want to carry on and develop lots of illnesses, which is what happens to the Western, hospitals are full of people, and it's the only reason you end up in hospital 99.9% of the time, barring accidents and obviously disabilities and things like that. Most of the things that we end up in hospital with are caused by what we put in there. What goes in there is responsible for most things, for cancers, for diabetes, being overweight, joint pain, backaches, all these things, headaches, strokes, all caused by what we put in our gob. So it is very, very important. Obviously, when you're young and you're growing up, you're indestructible. You can take on the world. I don't care. I can jump off this, and I can bounce off that, and why would I want? I can smoke, and I did it all. I've done all these things, done everything you shouldn't do, and I'm sort of, thankfully, because I'm an active person, I'm not as bad as a lot. But a lot of my friends of my age group who I grew up with have died from all things to do with food and alcohol. Quite a lot have died, and so it does make you think. And lots of people, when they get to midlife, you have the midlife crisis, and you start to think, oh my God, you realise your days are ticking away, and you start to think about, well, how can I prolong it? I don't want to die yet. How can I prolong it? And for a lot of people, they'll just go, well, I'll just take life easy. I need to, look after myself and not do anything silly and enjoy my life and go on holiday and sit on a beach, drink beer and eat lots of food and all the rest of it, which is fine, but it's not going to last long. You're soon going to be ended up in that bed with cables and pipes hanging out of you and all the rest of it. I remember my mother-in-law went into hospital not long before she passed, and we had to go into a ward where people were in there with diabetes, and it was shocking. It was really, really shocking. It's a shame you can't film, because I'd love to have filmed it and shown people. But when you go in there, there's all these youngsters, and I mean youngsters, losing limbs because diabetes affects your circulation, and one of the first things to attack is from the knee down. You see lots of kids with their young people with their knees amputated. It affects their eyesight, so it's quite shocking to see, and they're usually extremely overweight. But anyway, bit of a cheerful one, isn't it? So anyway, getting back to what I was supposed to be saying is how to keep fit and healthy is eat a healthy diet. It's so important. It doesn't mean the end of the world. You still enjoy your life. Don't think it's a life of misery. I enjoy everything. I drink quite a bit of water. I drink tea. There's lots of different teas. Apparently carbonated water is quite good. It makes your body alkaline, which is good for lots of things, which I didn't realise. But that's carbonated water. I'm not talking about Red Bull and all this other crap. That's just full of shocking things. Yeah, caffeine. I didn't realise caffeine affects your bones, but it also affects your brain. Being overweight affects your brain. As you get more overweight, your brain shrinks. Fact. I'll put a video. There's a brain expert on this video who scanned 25,000 brains. He's a brain specialist, and Stephen Bartlett, the chap off Dragon's Den, has got a website called YouTube channel called Diary of a CEO, and he interviews this chap, and they scan Stephen Bartlett's brain, and he's got brain damage from, as he'll explain in it, from certain things. But you can bring things back. Your brain is like, if you imagine a lump of margarine or butter, it's that consistency. Your brain is very delicate. Head injuries, shocking. You can see someone who's had a brain injury because it affects the brain, and there'll be a bump which stays there. So yeah, it is very important. If you do ride a bike, wear a helmet, for God's sake. But so yeah, it's very interesting to read all this stuff, and obviously as you get older, you want to know these things. Or a lot of people do, not everybody, obviously. Okay, so that was really. I just wanted to sort of continue from my last video. I don't want to go on too long because it can be a bit depressing for some people. But yeah, that's where I'm going now. I do feel a lot better. I cannot tell you how much better I feel. I'm enjoying my food, and I'm enjoying everything. So good. I will be doing another one of these, not just yet. I want to do one a bit more on exercise, a bit more in depth into what I do exercise wise, little tips on keeping things going, and that's it really. Next video is going to be something to do with clothing. I've been asked a question, so I'm going to answer that. But anyway, that's coming up soon. Hope you find this of interest. Please don't be too depressed. It's a good life to be had. Just don't be a sheep and follow the crowd. Don't waste your money on junk. But I'm not going to tell you what to do. This is an information thing. Do what you want to do. It's up to you what you do with your life. And I've just thought I'd pass this on. This is my experience. Okay. Good to see you again. Take it easy. Put some comments below if you've got anything you want to say about what I've said on this video. Please chuck it in there. The more comments, the better. I love to see what you've got to think about it all. Good or bad. If you think I'm talking rubbish, just tell me. You know, I'm quite up for it. I've got thick skin. All right. Okay. Take it easy. Catch you later.